The whole time it said, "What's your bacon?" though, like behind me. You know, when you're sort of like, I'm looking at you guys and I can see that behind me. It looked like it was saying, "What's in your bank account?" That's all I could see. And I was just like,
That's our subliminal message. That's,
yeah, literally.
We're
musicians.
We're musicians. We often talk to musicians. We know that there's nothing in the bank account.
There's nothing in anybody's bank account. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
Timeout time.
How those balls looking?
You know what season is, right?
I do indeed. It is time.
It is time for smooth sack summer. And how do I keep everything smooth, everything tidy, everything the way it should be?
Well, I don't know how you do, but I'll tell you how I do. Manscaped, buddy. You know it. You've been listening. You've been seeing the show. We've been talking about it. You know how much we love the crop mops. You know how much we love the lawnmower. But they have the Performance Package 4.0 now,
where they did a little upgrade to the Weed Whacker. Weed Whacker is, of course, the nose and ear hair trimmer. It is now the 2.0, as opposed to the 1.0. Now,
right. That's one better.
I used the 1.0. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they sent the 2.0, and I said, how could it be better? It is. It just is. I don't know how they do it, but Manscaped keeps upping their game. And
I've been digging the lawnmower for a long time. Right. I like the skin safe technology. I still use the guard. But I have not once nicked a thread on the beanbag.
Yes.
Not once.
Yep.
Now you don't want to lose any beans.
No.
Everyone.
No, you
You don't want to lose beans, and with other methods, oh man, you could lose a bean.
Yeah.
But not with Manscaped.
Exactly. And also, they are getting into the beard game. They've got their brand new beard trimmer, which is fantastic. So go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code BACONPOD, and that will give you 20% off and free shipping.
That's right. So don't forget to work on those testicles, your chesticles, and your cheeks. Keep them clean and ask yourself, what's your bacon? Smooth sack summer.
Nothing.
Yeah, debt. There's debt. There's debt in your bank account.
All right. You ready? You ready to roll into it?
Yeah, I'm ready. If you're ready. If Luke's ready, I'm ready.
All right.
Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to Bacon is My Podcast. I'm here with my host, Jim Z.
Hoorah.
Jim Z G.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Jim Z G.
Somebody else tried calling you Jim Z, and I was like, no, it's mine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mine.
Exactly.
I am Mike, and
I'll
today...
step on their foot.
Yeah.
Not hard, but like I'll step on their
No,
foot.
with authority.
I'll make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And today, we are here with lead singer of the band Happy Daze. They just put out their brand new record, Full Free Radical, with Thriller Records, available on all streaming platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Luke. What's going on, dude?
How we doing? How's it going, Mike? How's it going, Jim Z?
Good.
No, that's mine.
We're pretending that we all aren't still here from a second ago.
A couple minutes ago.
So, Mike, can you tell us where Luke is coming from?
Luke.
Let's go.
Luke is here from Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
So that's
It's
it.
at Edinburgh, right? Edinburgh.
It's the bar.
Yeah, there's like the on it.
Oh,
There's like one extra syllable.
Edinburgh.
Yeah, you go. You were just missing one more syllable. That's it.
Edinburgh.
Oh, okay. Well, that's in Scotland,
Yes.
and it is past midnight there. And it was funny because we were talking before you came on, and I was like, "What time is it in Scotland?" I was like, I did talk with them about, like, we can go a little earlier if you wanted or whatever, because I know.
Do you know what? I think I messed up, and I thought that they were like talking to me about like my time. I was like, yeah, 7 p.m. will be cool. And it was today. I was just like, that says EST. Sick.
Yeah, because we've had
son of a bitch.
like we had
it's all good, man. I'm always going to be off at this time, so it was like I was.
Well,
like,
you know,
yeah, let's go.
like
Nice.
we had Weather State on a little while back, and for them, you know, they were over in the UK as well. So I was like, we'll start early. So I think we started at 3:00 our time, which was a manageable time for them. So I extended the same thing for you, but
You did. I'm just so bad at paying attention. If I
Yeah, I'm the same way. I
And
do
it-
the exact same way.
and then he was like, it's midnight there. Has he heard this show? Does he know like?
What if he's drunk already?
Yeah.
And we were like, that'll be great.
That'd be awesome. One thing I will say though, and again, we were talking about it before you came on, and this is not blowing smoke up your ass. Of the bands that have been pitched to us that I did not know prior, your EP is probably one of my favorite in recent history.
I would say definitely
from the show. The songs and stuff, dude, they've got so much depth sonically. And we love ear candy, like the little intricacies and the little things that you add and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't recommend enough. Go check this EP out.
Yeah.
Go check this record out.
everybody that's
It
listening,
is.
it's
Thank you so much,
fucking
man. I
great.
really appreciate that. It was a long process of, like, I was looking back through the demos recently, just to see like what was the oldest file out of all the songs. Like, how far back did like the first one go? And the last song on the record, that was like 2021 was like the first like idea of that. So, like, that's how long ago like the creative process for that record goes. And like our first EP wasn't even out at that point. I don't even know if we finished recording it by that point. And then it was, I think it took like, you know, best part of like almost 2 years to finish writing it, and like doing the whole process of going recording it. Then we played the songs live a bunch while we were out on tour last year. So like we got to see what it was like out in the world, but like we still couldn't release them out there. So to see it out now, it's just like, it's so good, and I'm so glad that you like it.
Yeah, no, dude, it's really cool. Like a lot of the songwriting, the things that you did, like when like my wife had asked me like, what do they sound like, and I was like, I mean, like you could say a little bit of Point North, like that's kind of like the vein, but it's way, I don't know, it's just it's way more deep than that. There's more sonic depth for sure, and I dude, it's great. It's really, really awesome. I love the EP.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I like any time when I'm hearing a song and I hear something in that song that comes in and it's of another genre, you know, like or something that gives you like a taste of like, oh shit, these guys listen to punk, but they also listen to like somebody listens to like dance pop, and somebody listens to you know, there's somebody listens to some R&B in this band, you know, or somebody, you know, I love when I get to hear stuff like that. And I was telling him that like, it's not often that I go into something with the mindset of, okay, somewhere I read or heard that like before I listened, I was like a pop punkish type thing. And I was like, okay. And so I jump in to listen, and I love pop punk music. I love all different genres. But I wasn't prepared to be like, oh man, I want to put on headphones because there's stuff in here that I want to hear again, and I want to see what's buried in there, because there's definitely some things that are like that were planned on. Okay, they'll probably hear this the third time they hear the song, you know, and they'll hear this the fifth time they hear the song, you know, and I love that.
It's so funny, and I never write that. Right, I never write anything with that intent. I think. In all the songwriting situations that I've been in with my mates over the years, and like I still, like guys who I was in bands with before, I still write Happy Days songs with them now, because like we enjoy the creative process together. It was like every band that's broken up has been for like legitimate reasons of like, we just like, it was time for that to like fizzle away and and move on to the next thing. And when it comes to like sitting in the room, it is just about the vibe, and it's just like we're very, very seldom focusing on the music. Like the music is there, but we're like, what is the thing that's going to carry it with the vocals? And then because it usually starts with something that's so simple, like a riff or maybe like a sample or something like that, it'll end up becoming usually something completely different from what it starts with, but whatever the vocal is what grounds it. So when the vocal comes in, it's like, right, this is what kind of song this is going to be. Or like if it's like the more drum and bassy kind of vibe of like Heaven You Felt, I was like, right, how do I contrast that so that it isn't like just a drum and bass song? It's like, well, let's make it as rocky as possible and put a guitar solo in it and things like that. But as I was writing it, I was like, I'm not going to put a guitar solo in this, and like, these little moments and stuff in the back, it's just like, I need something to fill that space underneath the vocal, or I need something to do this or do that. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I love that you hear it like that, man. I love it.
I love that process too, because I try and tell my like, we're both in bands as well, and we're both songwriters as well, and I try and communicate to my band all the time, and I know that like when we've written songs together, it's the process, because we're both singers and we're both like writers lyrically and melodically as well, that it seems to be easier. How easy was it for you getting groups of writers that automatically have that mindset of, okay, the vocal and the melody is where we're going to base everything off of, and we're going to build it from there, and it wasn't like a battle of, oh man, you're overplaying those drums there, buddy. We need to back that off a little bit, or okay, this solo needs to be here, but maybe not as long, you know, or things like that.
Our process always starts with like, I'll write what is like basically the song, and I'll demo it out, I'll record it all, and it'll like, I'll bring the idea into the guys, or I'll be down in our studio and I'll be sitting writing it with like Pete will be with us, and then it'll reach a certain point of where we're like, right, let's get the drums out and we'll like start adding to this. Right, we're at the point where it sounded like it's becoming a song. Always very, very quick though. Like every song that we've done, that we've released, has been like, we start writing it and it just goes. Like the musical, like at least the music will be written, like the full structure of the song will be there, whatever, like for like 90% of the songs. So like if we're sitting there and it's like 45 minutes into the session and we're just going on a 16 bar sort of thing, it's just like, just move on to something else. We've got that to start and use as inspiration later on, which I do quite a lot. Again, like I'll go back to old riffs and stuff, but it's like the song as a whole will always sort of be in a moment. Do you guys find that as well when you're writing? It's like one moment is like you get, you know, 80-90% of what it is, and then everything else is just like the extras.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely it. And even like what you said about the well, all right, we've been going through the same 16 bars for forever. Like, let it go, let it be there, and we'll come back to it. Like it's something I think is really important. Actually, we were just talking about it before. I'm releasing a single in the middle of June, and it happens to be a song that my band recorded. It was like the first 4 songs that we recorded in 2019, like the end of 2019. And it was one of the original 4, but we're only getting around to releasing it now.
Right.
And I was like, oh, why didn't we do that? Why didn't we figure that out? So, yeah, I totally understand. Sometimes you just got to go back when the time is right. You know, you can't force it.
Yeah, it happens when it wants to, you know?
Right.
The song is the God we all serve. You know, and that's just
absolutely like that. I made a video recently about that track Heaven You Felt that I mentioned, and like the riff from it, literally just the riff, was the 8th demo idea I wrote once lockdown hit in the UK, which would have been like day 2. It was just like demo idea, let's go. And then it was interesting looking back at that, like when you can look back, if you're organized enough with your demos, if you've got the ability to do it, and you can see for it's like a big bunch of like ideas, and then it's like song, and then it's like a load of ideas, and then song in a row. That's what I had anyway, which I thought was quite interesting. And like some of them were like we would put out as singles, and then we were like, oh, maybe we should keep this for an EP. Now let's put it as, that whole process was great. Like the first part of the band, because we couldn't play gigs. The only thing that we had was releasing music and like learning how to do that ourselves, you know, and the whole writing process of like what we're going to sound like, what we're going to do, and like we were going to rush it because I was in a band beforehand, wanted to maintain the sort of audience that we had from that. And then lockdown hit and no one was gigging, so I was like, right, cool. Well, I don't need to catch up. Like I can sort of like sit here and like work on it a little bit more. And then I spent like 9 months working on it before we released anything.
That's one of the things I noticed about many of the bands that we've talked to that kind of started either right before or like during lockdown. I've been noticing that the songs that have come out of that are way more advanced, I would say, than typically what you hear when a band first gets together. And I think what you just said has a lot to do with that. You're not jumping on stage and trying to book shows, and it's like, we got to put something down so we can send it to a place to book shows, and we got to try these songs out live, and we got to release something, and you're trying to build this brand immediately, doing a million different things, versus, okay, we're locked down, we got all that, who knows what's going to happen, so let's just write, and let's write, and let's rewrite, and let's let people hear these and rewrite again. And I feel like, because man, it seems like a lot of those bands that we've talked to, you guys included, that when you hear the music, that's just, there's a lot in it, and it's really impressive, and it's really more advanced than definitely my band's first recordings, any of my band's first recordings were. And it's like, it took us years to get to a point of thinking about some of the things that talking to some of the writers we're just immediately on. And I think that's really cool, and it's pretty impressive.
I think everybody managed to get quite a few of their 10,000 hours in,
right.
They managed to rack them up while they were just sitting there every single day. And that's the thing, if you do something every single day, it's like training and anything. You're just going to get better and better and better. And that's, that's what I've done. I was very much still learning at the start. I wrote a couple of good songs, ever. And then I was like, right, what am I going to, how do I make this better? Let's actually sit and try master the craft a little bit more. And I was trying to use different tools, exploring different genres. I was in metal bands, predominantly while I was growing up, playing just a drop B, big riffs, no fucking click tracks or anything like that, no backing tracks, screaming, and it was, but yeah, now I would hate to be in a band like that right now, because I like melody. I like people to enjoy the music that I make, the majority of people, not just to be really angry and noisy. But I think it's always been about that cinematic soundscape. I like to think that people can hear the heaviness still in the riffs, though, in songs like Cool Blue and Faded.
That stuck out to me.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Because it's got a some of the stuff, like you said, with the R&B feel, or a dancey kind of thing. The heavy guitars are still there. They're just done tastefully.
Oh, you can put heavy as shit guitars to a funk track, man.
Yeah,
it's the mixture is there, and where it comes in, sometimes that can make it sound even heavier. So it's definitely, and it doesn't hit you the same way as hearing it in a metal context. I think it even sounds more aggressive, because what's around it isn't already pushing it there.
Right.
So when you hear something that all of a sudden is this dropped rock riff or something, it's just all of a sudden you're just oh shit, I have to move. It kind of hits you a certain way that's different.
Totally. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to record the drums where we did, and we've now we've started going back to record some more music, and we're just recording everything now at Treehouse Studios in the UK, and that's where Proxy Sleeps recorded a bunch there, Sleep Token done their record there, I'm pretty sure I played on Bullet for My Valentine's bass when I was last down there, using that to track on there. So it's all the metal guys are going there, and there's just I've always loved it's not just about the absolute clarity of the production that goes into it. It's just nothing sounds as big. And I think that to a certain degree, I still find that our tunes, even though they are pop songs, when people hear them, there's still an abrasiveness to it. But that's intended. You know what I mean? You don't want it. I don't want it to sound like pop songs, because I want it to sound like big riffs, and it's the metal production, it's the metal kind of sound, the big kick drums, fat snares, huge rooms, huge distorted guitars, huge bass tones, and it's the contrast of all these elements. And it's exactly what you were saying about the mixture of sounds. While I've been doing we've been doing a couple of press bits, and having to think about when people ask who inspires you and all that, every single artist, and even if they're not necessarily breaking boundaries with the crossing of genres, the album that I really, really resonate with for all of them is the one that crossed all those genres.
Right,
and like
right.
Enter Shikari, Take to the Skies. That is like that changed everything when I heard that when I was 13-year-old. And I went to see them, and it's like they've got like the drum and bassy vibes, like the fucking trance vibes, like, but at the same time it's like total screamo, which was everything that I was about. But then I was like, oh, but like they're doing stuff differently, and it sounds really, really, really cool. And then, without even really realizing it at the time, like the Blink Untitled album, that was the one that I really resonated with. I like the singles off all the other albums,
Right.
but I would never sit and like properly like digest that album in the same way that I did Untitled. And there's so many different influences going through that record, and like the different kinds of sounds and the different instruments that are being used in the background of it. And those, as you were saying, like the little moments that happen,
Right.
that's definitely from that. And then Under Oath is the other one, and it's Lost in the Sound of Separation, where they really started going on the electronic influence, and like it wasn't all about the screamo. It was like you could really hear that underlying production and all the super cinematic vibes. And I think all three of those albums sorry I think all three of those albums together are very much like the influence of the kind of Happy Days sound after like thinking and working it out a little bit more.
Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And this season we've got for you ghosts, cryptids, conspiracies. Oh my.
Check out what role we cast Emma Robertson on our myth episodes this season.
Yes. And in addition to our myths, we will be bringing you the holidays, because we may or may not have missed one this last season. I guess you'll have to listen to the last episodes to check it out, and then catch all our new episodes coming up every Tuesday and Thursday on your favorite podcast platforms, and see us on YouTube.
Come and sit with us for a spell.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's really cool. I hate bringing this back, only because everybody's back out on tour and all that kind of stuff. And when we started this show, we started having guests and stuff. This was a question that we would ask quite frequently, but I'm very interested in your answer, especially because you really did develop this band in the pandemic era, right? So you said your past was like more metal, and I'm sure it was like 4 or 5 guys, they get into a room and they just bang on their instruments for however long and stuff. And then this, you said that you were initially written a bunch of songs, you were playing catch up, get it out, but then you ended up stopping. And I'm sure it was a lot of like emailing tracks back and forth and Zoom calls and stuff like that. Do you prefer that way of songwriting over getting into a room with a bunch of guys and just jamming, or
100%?
Yeah,
100%. I'm the worst, because I'll sit and I'll just go, this is how it's gonna go. So if I can just be like, instead of like sitting in the room and like arguing with someone, if I can just like record a song and then be like, this is pretty good, we'll try this one,
yeah.
And then it ends up just like, yeah, this is how the riff goes and stuff, like, oh, we could add that, let's try another song, So but no, it's never that bad. We've definitely, like, the reason that it was like that at the start was because I didn't know if I was going to play guitar in the band at the same time. So I was still like, I was writing all these riffs, and I was like, we weren't playing live. We didn't know how we were going to play live yet. And I realized that after writing lots of songs that the riffs were quite complex in certain places, the vocal like melodies and stuff, like, because I'd sung like my whole life, but I hadn't been like the singer in a band since I was like 15. So I needed to like get better at singing. That was the main goal for it. And if that meant like not playing guitar, to not compromise like the quality of like the guitar playing, as well as the like, the vocals are the most important thing. And in this kind of music, I always found when I was growing up that if I listened to a band that I thought was really fucking cool and sounded great, and then I looked and I saw that the singer was playing guitar, I was a little bit like, kind of want the singer to just be the singer. I don't know why. Not every time. Not every time. I didn't think that when I saw Metallica, but like it's like for certain kind of sounds, you know what I mean? For that sort of like the screamo vibe, like the energy of a yeah, you want the energy of the frontman in this, and I'm not
frontman,
jumping about. I'm not jumping about mad, but it's just like it's the way to be able to engage it is like let the guitars be the guitars, let the vocals be the vocals, let it all separate out, and yeah, like now that we've been out and played shows and like we've played these songs and we see what ones do well and we see what that kind of vibe, and like we're now all in our own studio where we can sit together and we can like bat out ideas in a room like super simply because we've got like our own setup to do it, our own space. We don't have to like pack it down and set it up every time. It's now it's just the evolution of the band. You know what I mean? We're becoming more of like a band that writes songs together now, which is really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's what I was saying as well. When we went to Treehouse, that was the first time that we'd actually recorded a song where it wasn't just me and Pete playing on it. Because like up until that point, that was basically where it had been. Apart from like Rory does a lot of our guitarist Rory. He's like he makes like donk beats. You know what I mean? Like proper donk donk donk. He's amazing at it as well. So he's really, really good at that sort of electronic production. So I'll just sit. And he'll be I can hear it like literally like obliterating his eardrums and his in-ears while he's sitting and I'm doing something and he's just on his MacBook on the sofa. And I'm just like, bro, can you make me this 174 BPM, do it that? And he's just like, yeah. And then like 20 minutes go by and he's just like, you got your eardrop on? I'm like, yeah. And I get him like, thanks, man. And then I back dong. And yeah, that's just been like the sort of the vibe for that for the past few years. But now he's like, what about this lyric? You know, it's like, yeah, take the donks out, do that at home. Come on, join in.
That's cool.
Nice. So is Treehouse, is that the place that's the renovated old house?
No, that's a big, like, awesome studio.
Okay, because I was remembering, I read something about you saying that like the studio space that you had was like a big house with a community of bands. Everybody was in separate rooms, and there was
yeah. It's like I think we were in the old living room or something, and then it's literally just like 4 bedrooms. It used to just be band practice rooms, like hourly band practice rooms. I used to use it in my old metal bands, and then the guy who was running it couldn't be arsed like fixing the old broken Marshall amps and shitty kits, you know. So he was just like, right, rent it out for like this amount a month, this amount a month, this amount a month. So yeah, that's just like it's our studio.
Nice.
And, yeah,
so
it's great.
being in that kind of a community where you're, and you said you write with different people and you bring different, you know, you like that communal kind of like creative aspect of it. How do you think, like, do you think that that's kind of shaped the sound in that area because everybody's kind of in the same place and around each other? Is everybody kind of like hearing things and being like, oh, I like that, and you're getting a sound that's kind of like elements of everybody that's around as well? Or
I wasn't.
is everybody
That's
kind
interesting,
of their own distinct
actually.
thing?
I think there's another band that are across the hall from us that started at like basically the same time as us as well. So we've both been going through the motions together of like writing songs, going out and playing shows and stuff. And like we're very, very different styles from each other. They're super pop, and we're like more rocking, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember years ago, Jason, their guitarist, coming through and being like, how do I arm this track in Logic to like record? And now I go through and he's like, you know, rigging out synths and he's got his like plugins and stuff, and it's like I'm watching him do all that shit, and I think that's that's been like really, really cool. That's the sort of side of it. It's like we're very different musically, but like how do we use this mixer for our in-ears? And we were like, all right, yeah, because they're like, they come to us, they're like, what do we use for in-ears? I'm like, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. Just come into the studio and we just show them it. It's just like, take a picture of it. I send them the link because like so many people have asked me this question. I've just got a note on my phone where I just like highlight it all in text and I'm just like, just buy all that. And that's you. However many band members, it's got the multiplier by it. And that's just the way that we kind of go by it. I think not a lot of people in Edinburgh are really about, well, not, there's a few bands that are doing like the pop punk thing and stuff, but in terms of an audience for it, it's just not that big in Edinburgh. I think that Edinburgh, well, I'm probably being quite ignorant with it, but Edinburgh is more of like an electronic scene. It's like there's a lot of students that are in Edinburgh, they're going out clubbing and stuff. It's more about like the DJ circuit than it is about bands and stuff. Glasgow is is like the music. Okay. For me anyway. I've played much better gigs in Glasgow than I have in Edinburgh, just for like the turnout, like the way that the crowd interacts with you, like. Yeah, I don't think people really care when you say that either. It's not like there's like this big pride about it. I think everybody knows that Glasgow's where the best gigs are.
Well, I think it's one of those things. Like I'll tell people all the time that like by and large New York audiences are kind of lame.
Yeah.
And the people are like, yeah, they are. I'm like, yeah, they're just quiet. They're quiet crowds. You know, you get a little bit out, and all of a sudden there's life, and there's give and take, and there's a bigger scene. You know, but yeah, there's that national pride thing, that town pride thing, isn't that big? It's smaller than you think.
It's something about all of the UK, I feel, though, is that people are, when they go to a show, they're afraid to dance. Like, they don't need to be like afraid to do that. If you go to Europe, like, as soon as you go to Europe, regardless of where you are, as soon as you start playing, everybody just kind of sways. You know what I mean? And it's just like, they're into it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of read it from that, and like, you play at a room of like a decent amount of people, everyone's like standing still for the majority of it. And then they'll come up and go, that was amazing, man. I'm just like,
I couldn't tell.
You know?
It's the same thing here, man. You've got to you got to tell people. You got to be like, hey guys,
there's a lot of space.
The better you are, the better we are. The better time we all have. You know, I tell people every show, I'm like, everything in life is better when you make a lot of noise doing it. So let's all make a lot of noise doing this. You know, like.
Although I will say, I was just at a Beartooth show a couple of weeks ago, and that was pretty wild.
Nice,
it was
good.
Really wild. In fact, some guy was dancing so hard.
I saw them a few years ago, and it was just like they were on stage for like 10 minutes, opening. This was actually like 10 years ago, but they were on the stage for about 10 minutes, and they still hadn't played a song. He was just hyping the crowd up like so well, just like get everyone going. So by the time that they actually started playing, it was just carnage. Absolute carnage.
Nice.
And it was in Glasgow as well, like one of the best cities in the world for a good show.
Right.
So yeah, that's the thing about Glasgow. They might not groove too much, but they fucking mosh and they sing in that. I've been in
there was a dude that was
crazy
dancing.
Crowds in Glasgow. Terrifying crowds.
There was a dude that was dancing, and he was dancing so hard that he ended up slipping, falling, cracking his head on the floor.
I remember you told me this, yeah.
They had to stop the show for like 25 minutes because this dude was just like he was like thumbs up and everything, but everybody around him was like, dude, just chill.
No.
We don't need your brain splattered all over the place. And he's like, no, I'm good. So yeah, so sometimes New York does go hard.
Yeah, but I find like for jam bands and stuff like that, like reggae and jam bands here, people tend to move around a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the same here. That's the same here. Like there's a bar in Edinburgh called the Jazz Bar, and they've got like live music every single night. And there's like a couple of bands that are like super, super funky, like absolute shredders, like saxophone players, drummers, ridiculous, and everybody's grooving in there. And like, yeah, it's just to like, I just find for like our kind of music, people still find like the groove, and they still kind of go. But in quite a lot of places, it's just like, nah, we don't dance like that to pop punk, you know. That's fine, you can. You're alive.
Let's make a conga line.
Yeah, there you go. You had mentioned about, you know, creating and content creation and stuff like that, being your bacon and stuff. When you guys put these 7 songs together, did you guys purposely, like, did you say, all right, this song we need to do a video for? And like, how did doing all 7 songs like come together? And did you have specific visions for each of those videos? Like, it's so pretty cool. There
was nothing in particular in terms of like, we need this story or we need all that, because we genuinely didn't have the time to think about that. Like, all of us work all the time. Like, we have to live real life as well at the same time. We're not going out touring or anything like that. Like, we're working on the band, and we have our other lives as well. So whenever it was coming down to like, what are we going to do, a lot of it was quite last minute. It was like, oh, we're going to do this video now. Like, we knew we were doing the first single Cool Boys, so we're like, this is the kind of vibe that we're going to have for the video. There's not necessarily a story, it's just like really nice imagery. So we turned our studio into like a living room, turned it into like a nice set, got all the little different bits, and then that sort of established, like, because it was first video with our guitarist Adam. It's like, this is the band, this is who we are, we've been out and we've been doing all this stuff for the past wee while. This is our new kind of vibe that we're going towards. And then that established it. But when we had done that, we'd actually decided on a different set of singles in a different order. And then it came to about 3 weeks before we were releasing Faded, and it must have been 4 weeks. It must have been 4 weeks, and they were like, "We're going to do Faded, and we're going to do it second." And I was like, "Okay, so right, we need to do a video for Faded." We didn't know what we were going to do, but I work in this really, really cool arts building in Edinburgh called Summer Hall, and I was just like, "Can I please use a couple of the rooms?" So we worked out what we're going to do, and if you watch that video, there's an exhibition where there's all these coloured squares on the walls,
Right.
and it matched the artwork, you know, like all these different colours. I was just like, "That's amazing!" And the exhibition was actually a guy had looked at all these super famous paintings, and he'd identified the 4 most prominent colours in each of those paintings, got the Pantones for them, and then he painted them onto the wall, and then they were like all wrapped around us. It was absolutely sick. And it cost us nothing. So it was like taking advantage of that kind of situation. We are still like, we're a low-key band that need to try and find the best ways to do the things that we can. And what I've found through doing it yourself is that you can only get annoyed at yourself if it doesn't happen. There's nothing more annoying than like you putting all your work into something and then relying on someone else and they let you down. And then that just started like the idea of like, once we'd had those first 2 videos, we're like, right, what are we going to do with the artwork? Let's bring the artwork into it and all that. And again, in the building that I work in, there's loads of different offices, and there's these awesome animators who come in to do a pub quiz every single week. And I speak to them, and it just ended up happening well because I love their dog. Their dog's amazing. I'll go over, I'll play with the dog, and be like, "What's happening? How are we doing?"
Nice.
And then I was like, "What do you guys do?" And they're like, "Oh, we're animators." I was like, "No way!" Like that's
amazing.
That's something I've always really, really wanted to get into myself as well. So I was like, "What do you use?" Like nerding out with it all, like obviously sounding like a total like noob, you know. And they're just like,
Right.
Yeah, it's all like this. Yeah, we use this and that. Amazing. I was like, "So like, what have you done?" I was just like, "Oh, we've done like music videos for like Biffy Clyro, like we've done stuff like Adult Swim." I was just like, "Oh my god, whoa, like this is crazy." And I was like, "We've got these mad shapes in our artwork." I was like, "Could you make these move?" And they were like, yeah. So that was the idea. And actually, the Radical video was a nightmare, and it was all down to me because it was like, "Oh, we'll do this, and we'll have all the creatures, and we'll eat them, and we'll be running around the city, and it'll be all like this." And then I was just like, "Right, we don't have 40 grand, so we should probably just shoot a green screen video and just like make them all move about." And I used the Talking Heads, Many the Days Go By, you know, Same as It Ever Was video as a reference, just like kind of make it look a little bit silly, you know, kind of make it look a little bit fun. And it ended up looking fucking awesome. And that was like, you know, like a super collaborative effort. You know, like you've got Stuart who done our artwork, who like designed all the like the pieces in the background, Matty who filmed it and then took all the animations that the animators done, and then it was like, you know, I was playing the song, wrote the song with Mike Greenland. There's so many different people involved in just that one song that it's like is mad. It's amazing, but it just like it reminds you sometimes of the scale of what it takes sometimes to get a song out into the world.
What's up, guys? We got a little hint for you here, a little secret. How do you help the show? We've been asked. Here's a way to help the show. Check us out over at patreon.com/baconismypod. You can get lots of extra stuff.
Yeah, like additional shows, ad-free episodes, early episodes. Shoot. Every Sunday, we record our discussions and drinks live with our patrons.
Yeah, so you can have a drink with us while we do it. You can watch us cook things. You can watch us eat things. You can just support the show. And that helps us keep putting these out. It helps us just
keep the show free.
Keep the show free. So thank you guys so much for supporting. All of you over on Patreon already. Our patrons, you guys are our lifeblood. Thank you guys so much. And if you want to help out the show and you want to jump on, and you want to be part of that BIMP squad, jump over to patreon.com/baconismypod. Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's awesome when you kind of are able to find and build your team for it in ways that open themselves up to you. You know, it's
totally.
like, it's another thing about like, yo, keep your eyes open and be nice to people. 100%. And talk to people.
I've got to say though, the Heaven You Felt video, that's my baby. I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of. Like, I planned it. I was going swimming and sitting in the sauna like every day for like 2 weeks leading up to that. And I was like, what are we going to do for this video? What are we going to do for the video? And in the sauna, there was a sand timer. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Maybe we should get a sand timer. Right? What am I doing with the sand timer? Right? I'm in therapy.
That all started around a sand timer? That's awesome.
Yeah. And I was just like, right, how can we do that? Where are we going to like film this? Where are we going to film that? And then I was like, right, I need a therapist. I need all this and that. So I asked my girlfriend, and my girlfriend like was very kind to be my therapist. And she knew the song anyway as well, so she could like speak all the lyrics and stuff. And it was amazing. She absolutely smashed it. Literally smashed it though. On the third take,
Oh, nice.
She turned it, and it like clipped her hand, and it fell, and it smashed. And we've got that on camera. I'm looking forward to being able to put that out. But it ended up being like a total happy accident, because if we tried to smash it to get the end shot of it, all the sand pouring out of it looking all epic,
right,
we would have just broke it completely and it would have looked crap. But
right,
it was just
it
like the perfect little dink out of it, and I just like chucked all the sand back, and I was like, just turn it around, just let it sit there, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's not like we're not focusing on it. We've got our shot of it being turned, and that'll be it.
Right.
And then yeah, so we actually, like, our location for filming the band shots fell through. So again, I went back to Summer Hall where I work, and I was just like, can you please give me a room? And they were like, yeah, no worries. And this was like, I was sitting at 8 a.m, like freaking out, where are we going to go? I hope we've got a room there. I'd already checked, like, is the room free that I want to use? And it was, and everything was cool, and there was nothing near it and all that. And I phoned them as soon as it hit 9 a.m, and I was just like, please help. Like, yeah, that's fine. And then as soon as I got in, I was like, can I come back tomorrow and use a different room and film like a therapy shot? Is that all right? And then all of the management of the building are sitting in a room that looks out onto the courtyard of me and the drummer of my band, just moving us like a couple of chairs out of the pub and into this back office room to be able to do it. But like, I think it looks like, to me, it looks like $1 million. Like, I'm so stoked with it. Like, some of the shots we've got, and like the bus stop, and like the phone box, and the car, and all that. Like, it was our mate Pid, Arthur Piddington, just an absolute legend. What a name as well. You know, he just sounds so fucking noble and legendary.
That's great. Yeah.
He
needs to be knighted. He needs to be Sir.
He's some man.
Pennington.
He does, Sir Arthur Piddington. Indeed, he is already. But yeah, he's just like, he's helped us out with, he done the Faded video with us, and he done this one with us, and like shot it all, just like went so fucking hard with us, like 2 days of filming, all that stuff. The first day of like the band shots, we were in the building at 9 a.m, and we finished filming in like the little corridor. That's the corridor of our studio. Like, all those doors are all like me pretending to break into all the studio doors.
Yeah.
And I showed that to the guys like in the other room. I was like, yeah, what do you think of our new video? He's like, you try to break into our studio. He, like, talked away. But
I'd be like, you thought I tried to break in? Man. You didn't look around?
Dude, we walked in there the other day, right? And their door was just open. Like, there's like, obviously you got to get the key to get in, and then there's like the passcode to get in.
Right.
And then like we walked in, and their door's just like sitting ajar. And like I opened it up, and like no one in it, like all their shit just sitting there. And I'm like,
oh dude,
I want to
leave
leave
it
open for them.
You gotta go in there and like
just to prove it.
Glue a chair to the ceiling, or garden gnomes, or we had our friendship started pretty much based on pranks where our bands rehearsed down the hall from each other, and like they filled in between our two doors with like ball pit balls. And we came home from a show at like 3 a.m. on like a Tuesday in the city, and we opened the door and just ball pit balls came out everywhere, and we were just like, fuck. And we
that was close.
We filled theirs with packing peanuts and then duct taped the door shut while they were inside. So they opened it up to get out, and they got covered in packing peanuts, and then they couldn't get out, and they had to call the person that owned the studio to come get them out. Like,
he had to peel it. Yeah,
we should have done it. I'm actually the reason my face turned so sour there was because I was just thinking of what a wasted opportunity that was. But like, honestly, it's not the first it's happened. So next time, like, there's some as soon as you said something with tape, something with tape definitely sounds like that's what's going to do the job.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah. Taping the thing shut was classic. They just took duct tape, and it wasn't even a lot.
Right.
It was literally just the thicker kind though.
Yep.
And they just went over the seams, and because there was no air to like for anything, we could not get out. Four dudes like slamming into a door like, you can't get out of the door. And then we finally do get out, and we barge into their studio.
Oh, that's when we
And it was like just before Halloween.
Yeah.
And they wore.
We knew they'd be barging in, so we were. Are you familiar with like the Green Man outfits? It's basically like a tight body.
Just like full body. Yeah.
Face, everything, and we were like, they're gonna barge in here. Yeah. So we were gonna be like shadows for Halloween. Right. And so we were like, let's put those on so that when they run in the room, we're just rehearsing, but we're all in these. And it's just as awkward as hell. And so they ran in the room, and we were just in those, and they just like came in, and then they were just like shut the door, backed out slow. They were like, oh, that's enough. We're out.
Love it.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting, we have to pay some bills.
We do. But before that, speaking of art, I'm going to do a count of 3. And we're going to decide what our thumbnail is going to be for this video.
Yes.
So you can make whatever face you want on the count of 3, and that is going to be our thumbnail. All right?
Oh, Jesus. Wait a minute. Let me practice a couple.
So,
No, I'm only joking.
if you want to practice, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right. That is an excellent thumbnail picture.
I was too busy looking at you guys. I wanted to see what you're going to do today, but you know, I'm happy with that. That's fine.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go!
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's a genuine reaction to you guys.
Okay, so now
I hate searching through the video for thumbnails. So
thumbnails
this is the way.
This is great.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Especially when you get a whole
right.
band and you're like, where does everybody look good? Where does everybody look good?
God, yeah. We have a sponsor called Poddex.
Awful.
We've got a sponsor. They're called Poddex, and what Poddex does is creates cards for budding podcasters and people without verbal diarrhea like us. They help make little cards to help break the ice, if you will. So they have different topics for the cards, and then within each deck is 50 cards with questions. What we like to have our guests do is pick one of these decks, and then we'll pick a question at random. So, Luke, the decks you have to choose from are the Interview Deck 2, Episode Deck, Would You Rather, What the Heck, What the Fuck, and How Dare You?
Wow. Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Okay.
All right. Cool. We have no idea what these questions are going to be either. I will tell you, though, just from our experience, they can go anywhere from, like, completely benign and G-rated to, like, what did you just say to me?
We
Like,
literally just met an hour
They
ago.
can totally go from either one, so we have no idea. While Mike shuffles that up for you, I will tell everybody within the sound of my voice to go to poddex.com to check these out. They also have an app if you don't want to use cards. They have new topics and new decks all the time. They also have some nice swag. They have T-shirts that don't
this.
chafe the nipples.
Yeah.
Right? We all like to have soft-style T-shirts. Also, good T-shirts over at baconismypodcast.com in our Bacon is My Fashion section. You can find our nice T-shirts there.
Yeah.
Anything you get at Poddex, go ahead and use the promo code BACON,
Because everything is better with bacon.
and you will get 10% off your entire order.
All right.
Shazam!
So,
Love it.
we're going to fan these bad boys out here.
All right.
All right.
I saw that shuffling technique. That was glorious.
Thank you.
He's good. I can't. He's good. That's why I
I
just
could
talk
hear
while he
it.
does
It was unbelievable. It was the same
Yeah.
decibel as your speaking voice. The snap of it all coming together. That's power.
I've been practicing.
We're working our ASMR well.
Yeah. Gotta have it.
All right.
Oh man,
take it-
ASMR. You seen the video of that kid who goes up and screams into the microphone and then like slams ice cream in his mum's
Yes.
face? Oh
Yes!
my god, it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite videos of all time, man. It's so good.
I think it's. I just picture somebody listening to it every time and just being like putting their headphones in and being like, I can't wait for this,
Yeah.
and then just being like, what?
So good, man. So good.
So amazing.
All right, so I'm gonna take the finger of power. I'm gonna move from my left to my right, your right to your left. You tell me when to stop, and that will be your question. We are moving.
Stop.
All right, stopped right there.
Because of the delay, it was slightly after where I thought, but that's okay.
Well, I saw you move, so I stopped when I saw you move. But if you don't like the question, you still have to answer it, but we'll pick another one.
Yeah.
Love
All right.
it, love it, love it.
Would you rather be single for a year, and this includes no dating of any kind, or go on totally bad dates for a year straight?
The first one. Straight up. That was a poor question, though. I bet there's better ones.
Yeah, I bet there's a better one.
Yeah. We can get a better one.
Yeah, let's get a better one.
Let's get a better one.
We'll give it another shot. All right, moving.
Stop.
Would you rather see Oprah or Arnold Schwarzenegger as the next United States president?
Wow.
I mean,
Probably Arnie, just as a completely ignorant Scottish person. It'd be hilarious, you know.
I think I might say Arnie too.
I would say Arnold myself. Yeah,
as also a completely ignorant U.S. person.
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely want to see what Arnold does. Like, if he doesn't at least throw like one Kindergarten Cop or Terminator like quote.
Oh, you know,
into every one of his speeches.
You know it'll happen.
Oh yeah,
there's got to be an "I'll be back" in everything.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Like he can't do anything without one of those.
I would really love for him to put the cookie down now into one of his speeches.
That was a good Arnold.
Thank you.
That was a good Arnold.
I used to do that. I love Kindergarten Cop, so
it's a good one.
Thanks, guys. You guys are so complimentary today.
Hey.
Terminator 2.
I recognize
that's that's the masterpiece.
Yeah, Terminator 2 is a masterpiece.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. The ones after it, not so much.
Terminator 2 still holds up, too. I watched it recently.
It does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was on we have a long list of movies that my girlfriend has not seen. And it's a quite exhaustive list of, like, how in the hell did you get through life and not see this? And so Terminator 2 is on there, and so we went into
But she did see Jaws.
She's seen Jaws 1,000 times. She has tattoos of Jaws.
Right.
It's her
I can't watch
movie.
Jaws. Can't watch Jaws. It's too.
No?
Really?
It's too. I genuinely think that my biggest fear is like open water and sharks and stuff. It just gets in my head. Even when I'm at like the fucking swimming pool, and if I'm in there by myself and like I've got the goggles, I look down and I can't see that, and I'm like, fuck no, I can't actually push myself. And it's like it finally made me realize like completely bonkers irrational fears, you know. But I really need to get over it, and I can't be watching anything. And like Instagram was doing me totally dirty recently, and obviously I was watching them as well because I was just like, oh, it's a shark and I need to see it. But I kept on getting these like, so I'm like, why are there so many of these videos? I thought this was rare. It's like these are like a new video every day of like some crazy shark attack. And I'm actually going on a holiday later this year on a boat for a week.
Oh yeah.
Oh nice.
In Greece. So
how are you?
That's where I'm going to overcome my fear. I'm just going to jump in the water and just
boats,
stay there.
Though? Are you okay?
Yeah,
on
I'm easy.
boats?
I'm easy. Yeah, easy.
Okay. Just once you're in the water, it's like
I'm a land animal, man.
Yeah.
I don't belong in that water.
All right. Time out. We've got all these awesome sponsors here.
Right.
Where can they find all the information out for that?
Oh, if only there was a place. If there was only
a portal,
a hub,
a central hub to do so.
A central location.
Wait, I think there is.
Do we have the technology?
Yes. Baconismypodcast.com is where you can find the best deals on all of our awesome sponsors, including Drink Wild Bills, Pod Decks, Manscaped, all of them. Go over there, find their promo codes. You always get the best deals. But what else can you get over there?
Well, not only can you get the best deals, and we'll always keep those up to date, you can also help out the show by grabbing some t-shirts, some swag. Jump over to the Bacon is My Fashion section. Yeah, there's a whole section. It's just there for you. It's there for you. You can check it out. We have nice t-shirts. They don't chafe. The nice to the nips, I like that.
Jimmy's all about his nice to the nips.
I'm like the
shirts.
Drax of this show.
Exactly.
I got sensitive nipples, man. I got sensitive nipples. If you have sensitive nipples, check that out. And you know what? How about your ear holes? You want to take care of those ear holes? Because you can find links to all of our episodes. How about your eyeballs? You want those eyeballs? You can find links to our YouTube, Strangerhood TV. You can check out everything right from baconismypodcast.com. It's easy. It's super simple. It's right there. What's your bacon?
I will say that when you go to the site, that will be your new bacon.
That will be your new bacon. Check it out.
My son loves sharks, is obsessed with sharks and dinosaurs. And we watch pretty regularly shark documentaries.
Right.
We have Discovery, and we have the National Geographic through Disney Plus and stuff.
Yeah.
So when we went to go visit my parents, I went I think I went out or something with a buddy, and they were like, "All right, Gavin, what do you want to watch?" And he's like, "Oh, I want to watch a shark documentary." He pulls it up on Disney Plus, and I came home and they were like, "Your son watches these documentaries all the time?" I'm like, "Yeah." Why? My parents are like, "I don't want to go. I don't want to go toward. I don't want to go in a bath. Like, I don't want to even go to any body of water because these sharks are like it's scary." I'm like, "Oh." He loves that shit.
I don't want to be near a glass of water.
How old's your son?
He's gonna be 10.
Yeah, so when I was his age, I was the exact same. Dinosaurs and sharks, absolutely loved them, and still continue to love them. But it was just like one experience when I was on holiday years ago, of where I was on holiday with my parents. We were out swimming. We had like a little pedalo boat, and this guy came blazing out on a jet ski. He was like, "Get out of the water, get out of the water, get out of the water." And then you're just like, "Oh no, why?
Oh, shit.
Why did I need to get out of the water?" And it's just like, yeah, there's like sharks in there, and you're like, "Oh fuck." And I was just like, since then I've just been like, not that keen.
Yeah, no, I get weirded out in the ocean. Like I grew up around lakes and everything because I grew up in the Midwest. And once I moved out to New York and have gone out to California and stuff, I love being under the water, but I do not at all like just having my head up and just like being like, "Hey, I'm bait. I'm just hanging out, just hanging out with my legs down." You know, like I don't like that at all. So
it's the idea of not being able to see all around me. You know, what's behind me, what's below me, what's across there,
Right.
what's there, what's all around me. Like,
right.
what is it? How big is it?
And what
How
was built
hungry
to
is
be
it?
what was built to be camouflaged under this?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah, I'm with you.
absolutely.
I'm with
So, Luke, we know it's real late.
you. Yes.
We know you probably have work in the morning.
Bro, this has so much
Maybe.
sugar in it. Don't you worry.
Oh, all right.
This is,
We have taken up a lot of your time, but we do want to ask again because we asked in the "What's Your Bacon" 7 questions.
Right. Yeah. So
We want to see if anything has changed a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, you never know. First, before we do that, outside of music, like you talked about, like, okay, we got our regular life as well, where we work and we do this and we do that. What's your decompress from the band, from music, from everything else? What's your, like, in your regular life, what's something that you do that just kind of like decompresses you and takes you out of the stresses?
it always has and forever will be just watching some good cartoons, man. Cartoons just makes everything feel good. And it's
What-
like
I'm
I love
sorry,
like
cartoons.
Cartoons. Oh, what's your
cartoons.
what's
Yeah,
your-
yeah.
Like,
Just,
which
I'm not
ones?
talking like not even like kid animations. Even just like chucking on some like season 1 to like 11 Simpsons, Futurama,
Nice.
Rick
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Morty. Like, all that. Like that's South Park. Like huge South Park fan. Always have been since I was younger.
Man, I'm a huge South Park
And,
fan. I love South Park.
Yeah. What do you make of the new seasons?
I've seen almost all of it. I think it's hilarious. Man, I think everything they do is genius.
Did you see
I
one of
think
the episodes was like written with ChatGPT?
Right. I heard that. I didn't see that episode yet. But
Yeah,
I
it's really
love
good
that.
because
I love
I think
that
it's
that
Matt
happened.
Stone's not been particularly well, so he was just like, "Well, fuck him, I'll just use ChatGPT instead." and because he voices a couple of the guys, it's literally just like they've just AI'd it and just like taken like the cuts to like get Kyle
Oh my God, that's
to
great.
say that, because there's like, of course there's going to be that with all the different like takes they've got. And
Right, yeah. Like
great.
back with Chef when
Oh yeah,
when
right.
Oh my
Isaac Hayes
God.
was gone and they did
Oh my god, yeah. But that was like brutal.
yeah.
Imagine,
Oh, yeah.
imagine that today. Imagine that going down today. Like that would be
Dude.
absolutely nuts.
I'm still amazed with what they get away with today.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And I'm glad they do. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad that they didn't like, I guess South Park's uncancelable.
Right.
It's
Which is great.
the whole thing about like every episode's made, in 6 days. When they're making it, it's like complete grind. They have 1 day off a week, which is the day after the episode. So it's like every Thursday they have off, and then
Yeah.
it's like Friday they start writing. By Sunday they've got to start animating and like recording all the voices, and everything's just like going and going and going. And like they've only ever missed one episode because of a power cut, and like that is I love that. I love that. And like just
yeah,
before I
that
started like touring in bands and stuff,
right?
that was animation was the one. And I loved learning about South Park and all the stuff that they'd done from the beginning to the end. They're the OGs, the heroes.
I like that. I love that the documentary they did that was like 10 days to air, 6 days to air, something like that, where they talked about that.
Incredible
process. Yeah, it was just so awesome that it's like, you know, like the show airs at 7 and at 6 they're uploading it. Right. Or they're dropping a tape off.
Right.
You know, like it's like what?
That's wild.
How is that even a thing?
So close to and like they use a program called Maya to make it now, which is like it's the same as like AutoCAD and stuff like that, like what you use to design buildings. And the server that they have and all that, like South Park just exists in their studio, and they're just like going about and like they're in the world, and like it's just like creating. It's so efficient, like it's beautiful, man.
Have you tried to make any animation? Have you ever like?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's awful, but it's great fun. Like I made it's all about like utilizing. Like, have you seen the Big Les show? You ever watched the Big Les show on YouTube?
Yeah.
Like so, like mate, I love that so much because it's like it's one guy doing it all again. Like it's like how hard can I work? How much can I drive myself to the brink of destruction? He actually made a video of him just like walking about, talking about like the journey of Big Les and how he did like he lost himself making the Big Les show. This guy, and that's why it's so fucking weird. But it was like that sort of style of like just like having a laugh with it and just like make it super super simple. And that was just like what I would copy and just have a laugh with. It was great.
Nice,
so much fun.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So you just gotta get to where you're doing an animated video for the band, you know, or make like a Metalocalypse story of you guys.
Oh man, yeah.
That would be class, but like after speaking to the animation guys, Owen and Tony, like they done 12 different assets, which was like 150 pictures, and they done that in like 3 days, and that's because they're like incredible, and like 150. If you like take it all, just like as a loop, that's like the equivalent of like, you know, 10 seconds.
Right.
So like, that's what you're rocking, like 3 days, 10 seconds, and like that's if you're just doing this one individual element. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like they were showing me it all. It's just like if you are doing that, you either have to have all the time in the world or the realization that it's going to take a really, 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 really long time to do anything and feel the satisfaction. Like I drew a background once. I drew like a sort of city thing. And then like I moved that, just like keyframed that to move. And I was like, well, there's an animation there. That's like my city's moving. And I was learning like, how do I make a person look like they're walking? And I drew like just like a little circle man. And it's like, right, his knees need to go like this, and he goes up and down like that. So I just had him standing still, walking along, and then I was moving. And I've never been more proud of anything. Like any song, anything. I was,
that's incredible.
But I didn't know how to export it. I had no idea how to export it. So it's just sitting. I'm on my laptop. I've got my old iMac behind me. If I search on that, it's on there somewhere, and I can look at it for a moment and be like, wow, but I can't export it.
That's what cell phone video is for.
Yeah, man. You just
take this,
shoot it and send it to everybody.
I did this.
You just got to put that.
5 years ago, it took me about 20 hours, and it's just a little 3-second loop. Like,
dude, you gotta have in one of your videos, you have to have somebody looking at a computer and that playing on the computer, just so it exists.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Just so it exists in universe, man.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Now that I've brought it up, now that I remember, you reminded me of it. I'm going to be turning the computer on for a second and just sitting here before I go to bed, just staring at it. Just like,
nice.
This is good. Well done.
I did this.
Look at what I've created.
I, man, have created fire.
Yes. Come in here and look at how good I've been.
A single tear just rolling down my cheek.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Cool. That's really cool.
All right, so yes, we will wrap it up, and like Mike was saying, we took up a lot of your time, and we do appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging with us, man. We do.
It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. So good.
But we will ask one more time. See if it changed or opened up or added to or anything like that. Maybe it's cartoons, you know, like if someone was asking, yo, what is that thing, Luke? What is your bacon?
It's as much as it is the creativity and the cartoons and all that, it's the people that are in your life. They're the ones that make it better. I love my girlfriend, I love my friends, I love my bandmates, I love the people I get to work with, and that's what takes you out of it. When you actually remember that there's there's good people in the world, and there's like, you know, you can just go out there and chat to people, and they've got your back, and like that's the thing that makes it better.
That's
It's
awesome.
the topping on top of life that is bacon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he brought it back to reiterate that he thinks it's a topping. I see what you did. See what you did. I caught
Full
that.
circle, dog. Full circle.
I caught it. Caught it. Yo,
Love
thank
it.
you so
Me and
much.
Jim Z, we got it.
Luke,
Exactly.
thank you so much for hanging out. Let everybody know
Yeah,
before
one
we
more
sign
time,
off
let
here
everybody
where
know.
they can find everything Happy Days.
Go check us out. Happy Days, one word, DAZE, on all the places you listen to music: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, the like. We are Happy Days UK, which my Instagram notifications on here calls it Happy Days, which is really funny. And yeah, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, but we post most of our stuff on Instagram. And yeah, we're constantly just like in our studio filming ourselves, playing little bits of our songs at the moment. That's about
That's
it.
awesome.
So we're just enjoying the moment of writing a record and finally getting it out in the world and letting people enjoy it.
Go
amazing.
listen to that record because
Yes.
it is awesome.
Full Free Radical.
Go listen. I listened to it. I drove for like 5 hours today, and I listened to it about 2 or 3 times.
Nice.
So
Love it. Love it.
Let's do
I
a
haven't
couple
actually
times.
asked, what was your favorite tracks off of it?
Cool Blue.
Nice.
Cool Blue is one, and then Haven't You Felt. Those are like
Love
my
it.
two.
I mean, You Felt is my favorite one off
Yeah.
there. I love it, but that's also the first video that I looked at, and so when I saw that, I was also like, it just hit me. It was really cool. So I love
love
I love everything about that.
Love it.
I also like
Yeah.
Full Free Radical.
Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger.
Yeah.
I'd love you to go back and listen to Thinking of You and Same to Me and the like. That I think that they're the hidden gems.
Nice. Awesome.
I like Thinking of You. I like that song
Yeah.
as well. This like, dude, it's a solid record. Everybody needs to go listen to it because
Yeah.
you're not going to skip a track, and that's
Yeah.
hard. Even in just 7 songs, it's really hard nowadays to not have those like, nah.
Yeah, there's no skips. There's no skips
Yeah.
on this. No skips on this. Well done,
Love it.
honestly. Like
Yeah,
really,
dude.
really, really good.
Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it.
Dude, thank you. So everybody, definitely go check out the record. If you are in the UK, go see them live.
Yeah.
If you're in the USA, just stream, share,
Play the hell out of their
it,
record.
so that they have to come here and play.
Right. They're gonna
Yeah.
look at.
Let's go.
They're
Let's
gonna
go.
look
That's
at the
goal.
analytics.
Yep.
They look
We
at
see the
and they
analytics
go,
already. We see the
Yeah.
analytics. The analytics point west for us. Yeah. What direction is it under pressure?
So there
Yeah,
we go.
we need to go. We need to get out. It needs to happen.
All right.
So, and then we'll make some stuff happen out here. It would be awesome. It would be
Yeah.
awesome. But in the meantime,
Definitely.
while you guys are driving, while you're sitting at home, while you're doing whatever it is you're doing, remember to ask yourselves every day, what is that thing that makes your life better? What is that thing that makes your day a little bit better? Maybe it's listening to this record today. Maybe it changes every day. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's cartoons. Maybe it's creating. Maybe it's the people in your lives. What is it that makes everything just a little bit more enjoyable and takes a little bit of the bad away? Luke, what question can they ask themselves?
What question can they ask themselves? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you living in the
Yeah.
day to day? Are you stoked?
But what's the question?
What is your bacon?
Yes.
Damn right.
That was a fun episode.
Luke is a cool dude. I could see us hanging out with him more.
Yeah, we actually did talk to him a little bit afterwards.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
We got some streaming advice.
Yeah, I felt really bad because it's late for him. I
Yeah.
mean, some people, you're like a night owl.
Yeah, definitely.
I could be at times, but I haven't been lately. I like, man, if it's like midnight, 12:30, I'm like, ugh.
I'm
Luke
trying.
was good.
He was good to go.
Good
man.
to go.
He was good to go. He was
So,
halfway through his sugary, boozy drink.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
But
was ready.
I appreciate him. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Happy Days, for putting out an awesome record.
Yeah.
Special thanks to Thriller Records for setting this up with us because, man, that's a record company that is like, it's got all of the it's gonna be big. They've got acts like The Word Alive. They've got Happy Days. They've got buddies of ours, Outlining Color.
Yeah.
They just did a release with Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. I mean, shoot, man, it's crazy. So thank you to Thriller Records for setting that up.
Yeah, keep an eye out for everything coming
Jimmy,
out on them.
Where can people find you and the things that you do?
Let's see. What do I do? I post
Things and
pictures. I post pictures of my feet in places. Well, not my feet, not my naked feet.
No, that's weird.
Sickos. My shoes.
Yeah.
Jimmy G's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's my handle. That's my handle on the socials.
Yeah.
You can find me there. My band Craving Strange is at cravingstrange.net, so you can find everything to do with Craving Strange over on cravingstrange.net, which also has links to, coincidentally, the Strangerhood TV project, which is over on our YouTube page, strangerhoodtv.com, which is the network that Bacon is My Podcast is on, as well as other shows by
The Top 20.
The Top 20 and
My
Five. We've got other videos from you and me, members of my band, members of your band.
It's funny too. My kids, I started showing them some of the Will It Sound Good acoustics and the heavies that we did,
yeah.
And they love it. They think it's hilarious. When we did the Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh, right.
For some reason
that was a good one. I forgot we did that.
Yeah, we did that little back and forth thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check it out. There's a lot of fun stuff.
That is
a lot
fun
of
stuff. Yeah, we're trying to build that channel over there, and we're doing it by making it an old school TV network with lots of different shows on it. So check it out. Jump in the comments on things. Talk to us. We want to create like a fun community over there. Like we do on everything else. So please stay in the conversation. # What's Your Bacon?
Yes.
And you can also visit us at baconismypodcast.com, where they can find everything Bacon is My Podcast, as well as things about you, my friend. Where can they find you?
Me, personally, I am at Me My Own Self Mike. I post things about my family and mostly the projects that I do. Also, my band, Something Heavy, new single coming out, Just to Live Again, going to be out very soon. Be on the lookout for it. You can find it on my socials at Me My Own Self Mike, but also at Something Heavy Music on social medias.
Awesome. Thank you,
This was
guys.
a fun show.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
I
He was
like
cool.
Luke. I like Luke.
I could see Luke appearing again on the Bimpies.
I think so too.
I could see that happening. I
Yeah.
could definitely see that happening.
No bromance, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. He was super fun. We were just starting to get into like the cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
So we might have to jump in again and do a little
agree.
bit more of that,
I love it.
So,
I think so too.
But hey, man, you have a great rest of your day.
You have a great rest of your day.
And everybody listening, have a great rest of your day. And remember to ask yourself in your goings about of the day, just randomly, maybe ask other people.
Yeah.
Just walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, what's your bacon?
World peace. Shazam.
Shaba.